does this?
Where's the math even coming close to making any sense in this thing?
Who does this?
Socialists.
This is the dumbest thing ever. You can go online. Oh, by the way, Joe Biden said, and I have not seen this. If you've seen this, if your family's been affected differently, tell me. Joe Biden said that Black, brown, Asian, and Native Americans were adversely affected by COVID. I thought it was a bunch of old white people in New York.
I don't know about the Asians being in that population, but the Native Americans for sure. And I have seen
were adversely affected.
Yeah, and I have seen data that shows that blacks and Hispanics as well
were got it. So I mean, somehow that's Donald Trump's fault.
Probably.
Yeah, because he's a rich white guy.
But what none of these studies have ever said is why. They assume things. They make guesses. They haven't shown any concrete data or evidence as to why. So here's Joe Biden trying to fill a void that may or may not exist.
Right.
To buy some votes.
$10 a month. Go get your health care for 10. Step right up because there's one born every day. So here's what's going to happen. Here's what Ash said. This is the kind of conversation we have in the mornings before the show. I said, now, why would they do that? He came up with the exact answer. Because somewhere along the way, an insurance company is going to get a big, fat subsidy from the government for administering this program. The third-party provider. Now, who's going to pay the third-party provider? Bingo! Whitey! The dude with the job. The guy paying the taxes.
Whitey, but taxpayers will pay it.
Yeah, that's who's going to pay the bills.
Taxpayers.
Absolutely. There you go.
Chris Conrad asked were those groups affected solely on race or on socioeconomic standing?
That's probably it. It's probably based on diet. It's probably based on comorbidities
Yeah, I've seen that one as well. That socioeconomic standing probably has a bigger role to play.
Sure.
But the one we know for sure does is the comorbidities and the healthcare or the lifestyle choices that people have made for the last 50 years.
Correct.
Has been the biggest driving factor of who gets COVID and has a more adverse outcome than anybody else. That data is not lying. If you're obese, if you're morbidly obese, if you have underlying health conditions that could have been prevented, some are genetic and can't be.
Right. If you're a big fat guy, chances are COVID's going to whip you up pretty good.
Exactly.
That's the way it is. Don't let that hurt your feelings.
But the government for the last 53 weeks have told you to stay in your basements, don't do anything, don't go anywhere. Some governments have gone so far as to, even if you go outside to try to exercise, lock your ass back in.
Yes.
Fine you, arrest you. Because we can't have a bunch of healthy people because then COVID goes away or the effects of COVID aren't as bad. If we're a bunch of healthy people in this country, then the government can't control you anymore.
Can you imagine the outrage among fat America, which is probably 75% of America, over the age of 35?
I don't think it's that high, but it's
fat America.
About half, probably.
The outrage of fat America.
Highest in the world.
If the government mandated that you had to go outside and get 20 minutes of sun and walk a mile every day. The outrage.
There's your prescription for lowering healthcare costs. Get healthy.
Fat butt off the sofa and go do something. It's fact.
Preaches the two guys that don't do much.
Burp.
But it is true.
Brought to you by Michelob Ultra. 100 calories, only how many grams? Carbs? I don't know.
But
yep.
Yeah. So that's just one solution that he has for what ails this country. And then again, and you know what, it won't, I mean, as we said yesterday, $3.5 trillion a year in income tax that's collected every year. And I believe the Medicare for All bill that was introduced in the House earlier this week or late last week
It's impossible.
would cost $39 trillion over 10 years. So 3.9 trillion a year on average, according to, I think, the Congressional Budget Office.
What's our GD? What's our total income tax,
And
Ash?
3.5 trillion. So, and that covers other things. So unless we dedicated
$400 billion, okay?
Yeah.
Just covering Medicare for all. If you took every dollar that Americans pay in income tax, every one of them, and with no fees and no administrative costs and no postage, you redistributed that to all the people in the form of Medicare for all, you would still be $400 billion short and have no other social services anywhere in the country. Stop and think about it. That's what the Democrats promised us. And in the meantime, they're going to tear down all the government buildings and rebuild them with good, long-lasting government jobs. You people are dumb to follow.
and build infrastructure
Craziness.
for electric cars
That don't pay
that
taxes
don't
for
pay
our
taxes
roads.
on the roads because there's no gasoline at the pump, which
Yeah.
everybody pays roughly 20 cents a gallon
Right.
right now.
So if you buy
For
gas
tax.
for, $2.20 a gallon, 20 cents of that is going to the government to maintain the roads. If you drive an electric
Which
car,
makes you wonder where the money's gone because,
yes,
I mean, all you have to do is drive any interstate.
they're all terrible.
They're bad.
And you don't pay anything if you drive an electric car. You get a pass. Now, you don't think electric cars tear up the roads just like gas cars? They just found a way to spread the expense over those that drive.
Yeah.
Well, they need to do that. If you buy an
It's a user
electric
fee.
car, you need to have a tax on your tires.
It's a hidden user fee.
Absolutely.
So what's going to happen? They're going to end up somewhere along the way. Everybody who is an electric consumer will end up paying to offset the road tax that will go away if we go
Absolutely.
to a completely. And here's the thing.
They're going to raise the price of electricity for all of us.
Think of something else too with electric cars. The range of an electric vehicle has always been 200 miles, right?
Right.
They haven't gone. I mean, it's going to end the auto tourism industry in this country as it exists now.
Yeah.
The height of it in the 50s and 60s with motor inns and Route 66 and driving across the country because everybody now had a car and loved to drive. And I still like to get in my car and drive.
I do too. But
But
now,
there's no way. I mean, I've gone 16, 17, 18 hours in one day. Sometimes if I decide not to go, 8 or 10.
popping little white pills.
No, just lots of coffee. And back in the day, a little bit of chewing tobacco to get you through because you can only
Nice.
drink so much coffee.
Coffee and chewing
No more.
tobacco. Don't you have to stop at like every restroom?
Roadside.
They're nice. Papa
But-
Squad.
But that was back in the day. Now I just turn up the music or Cheryl and I have good conversations when we travel. But think about it. If you've got an electric vehicle with a range of about 200 miles, and the more you put in that car, that range goes down, you're not going anywhere.
Right.
There goes the 2-day drive to get to the lake
So
to
what you
spend
do is
10
you
days
fly,
and drive 2 days back. So now, you're going to be
which, by the
flying.
way, has a huge carbon footprint. So Big J Nelson leads us into our next segment. Says if government would go back to its main job, defense, and allowing us to be free. What a beautiful thing that would be.
We'll get to that after the break.
Allen's Wrecker Service, 578-6300.
There's a business that would be impacted by cars that are no longer on the road.
Absolutely. White Trash Services, 550-1826. There was a car accident just yesterday right in front of Allen's, and they didn't use Allen's. It was on 59. T-Lat saw it driving out to baseball practice, and it was right there. And I thought, man, Allen's got them trained. They're bringing the wrecks right to his shop. They use somebody else. That's called dumb. You should dial 578-6300. White Trash
Or
Services,
AAA.
550-1826.
Might have been your roadside assistance plan.
7 counties, Rockport, Fulton Beach, roll-off dumpsters, weekly trash service in the counties. Whatever you need, reach out to the great folks at White Trash Services. We got cut short yesterday. Valuable sponsors that got shafted yesterday from Wade and Carter.
But provided a great forum and conversation with Congressman Michael Cloud.
Delegars and said, "You want me to talk about funeral arrangements?" Shut Michael Cloud continue to share valuable data, which he did. But you can call Dana Moore today, 652-9157. One-stop planning shop. She can help you select a plot, a location, a funeral type.
A way you want to be sent into your afterlife. If you want to be shot into space, you can probably
Cremated.
arrange
Do
it.
you want to get on SpaceX? Do you want to be mixed into a batch of chili? Tell your friends that. Tell your friends that one
Do
more
you want to
time.
be turned into a diamond to hang around your kid's necks?
Absolutely. I'd like to be a kidney stone and just hang around in your gut for a while. Modern Mortgage. Reach out to Terry Murray.
Terry can handle all your mortgage needs. Conventional financing, VA, FHA. She has reverse mortgages available as well. But whether you're buying your first home, your last home, your dream home, you need money out. You want to make some renovations. She has a loan program for you as well. She has all the mortgage options available to you, and she has a whole bunch of lenders available that will compete hard for your mortgage business, and you win because you'll get the lowest rate that you can possibly get. So
a full service,
absolutely.
multi-company mortgage source.
And it's locally owned, locally operated.
Right there by Jason's Deli in that beautiful strip center. Went Services, generators, solar panel, general electric work, plumbing work, services. That's the key word. Went, just like Victoria, communication services. The VCS company, our banner sponsor, reach out to them as they will help you with all your communication, surveillance, and security needs. They're the bomb. That's it. Did you give me that? Whew.
Yeah.
Like that's enough for now?
We'll get the rest.
So about government, Joe Biden now promoting. So we joke about the fact that the Democrats, and really politicians in general, but the Democrats more glaringly, never let a good catastrophe go to waste. If something has happened and there's a way for them to capitalize on it, the Republicans are the ones that would say, well, you shut down the pipeline projects or gas prices are going to go up. The Democrats reach further with, so gas prices are going up, so the price of tires is going up, so the price of cars is going up, so we're going to tax cars heavier. That is where the Democrats, they snowball things. Joe Biden's latest deal is seeking a law that will allow law enforcement to enter your home, and by design, the definition of lie is fuzzy. If there's a suspicion that you might have a mental health issue, they can enter your home without a warrant. So, in theory, if I were to say on this program, it's just about time for Americans to consider taking steps against their government. In theory, I could be displaying mental health issues, and in theory, I could go home and find police rummaging through my home looking for my weapons.
With no warrant, no
probable cause, no action on my part, a complete violation of my freedom of speech and of the Fourth Amendment, the right to search and seizure. Is that right? I don't know, whichever one it is.
Your constitutional rights. We'll go broad-based.
Right. You'd have to call the law offices of Stephen Kidder for clarification.
Somebody office.
Stephen would say I probably have mental health issues.
I haven't had enough coffee or chewing tobacco yet to drive this ship that far.
Another story.
Just kidding.
Correct.
Yeah. Chris Conrad says, how Orwellian is that? And BJ Nelson says, sounds like the KGB.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. See,
and you
our government is the stereotype.
And you want to know why Joe Biden's starting to push this narrative even worse? Because for the second time in recent memory, going back, Vegas was the other one that was huge. To this guy who, remember when the shooting first happened and you saw pictures of this guy walking out of the store with his bloodied leg and everyone, white supremacist, white supremacist, white supremacist, white supremacist. That was how bad they wanted it. That's how bad they wanted it to be another white guy doing the shooting.
So he turned out to be an Islamic extremist who hated Donald Trump.
Yeah. Syrian immigrant came here when he was 3, so can't blame, you can't go and say he came here as a terrorist and was harboring these thoughts. I mean, you can't make that connection, and I'm not at all. But here's a guy who had a criminal record, had some issues. If the FBI would have done their damn job and put the laws that are already on the books and acted on them, he wouldn't have put the gun 6 days prior to this shooting.
Correct.
To then go shoot if it was the gun that he used. They're still Not
And
quite
they might have-
100% sure on that,
could have
but it
bought it
looks like
illegally.
that's the gun he used to commit the shooting and kill 10 people at the King Super in Boulder. But again,
They
the
wanted to be a white
FBI
guy.
let it down. Or no, sorry, it wasn't the Vegas shooting. It was the Sutherland Springs shooting just up the road here. Had the FBI done their job with laws that are already on the books designed to prevent this kind of thing from happening, it wouldn't have happened. But the FBI dropped the ball again, and it makes you wonder why. And it's because at the top echelon of the FBI, they're all Democrats who want to push for this.
Absolutely. I promise you, at the top levels of the FBI, there is a statistician who agrees that those 10 people in Boulder died valiantly in an effort orchestrated by our government to remove guns from the people. The 10 lives in Boulder is a small price to pay to rid our country of weapons.
And CNN in an article yesterday, well, there's been 7 mass shootings in 7 days.
Well, that's Joe Biden's fault. Don't blame it on Trump.
Push for gun control. Now it's convenient to include a gang shooting in the inner city in a drive-by where some people were shot. Nobody was killed.
Those are the
All
mass
wounded.
shootings.
That's now lumped into a mass shooting when under Donald Trump's watch, they didn't care about the mass shootings that were happening every day in the inner cities.
And they're all happening in Democrat-controlled, Democrat-governed areas.
But now it can happen. Now it can be used to push the narrative. One of the shootings that they used was a shooting in a club in which the shooter went there to exact revenge on somebody else. Kind of sounds a little gang-related again, doesn't it?
Right. Let them shoot each other.
But in a club, which is already a gun-free zone by definition in every city across the country. You can't have a gun in a bar. Didn't stop these guys.
Right.
Again, we've got laws to prevent this from happening, and it doesn't stop them because people don't give a crap. And crazy's going to do what crazy's going to do when you let crazy run around the street unchecked.
Absolutely. And crazy is not going to offer up their guns when law enforcement shows up. And crazy is not going to have a gun that you can trace back to them with a legal
Neither are
purchase.
criminals.
Absolutely.
No, the crazy might actually, because this guy in Colorado did.
Well,
But, he didn't do his, but the FBI failed to do their job yet again.
good morning, Lorena. I thought it was interesting that they really, really pushed the white supremacist narrative on all the major media channels. You know, instead of let's see what we find out. It appears this is a white supremacist shooting. It's a tragic day in Boulder. Oh wait, this just in. He's a Pakistani immigrant and he's
Syrian.
whatever, and he's also from he's also an Islamic extremist.
And hated Donald Trump. So it
Syria,
blew their,
Pakistan. Are they close to each other?
not really.
Yeah. Who cares?
But it blew their narrative when all of a sudden he was anti-Trump. Because he no longer fit the Trump narrative that they like to paint all these mass shooters with, right?
Right. Now BJ's saying hi to Lorena. Is she trying to get like a gold star
Maybe
on
so.
her top
Yeah,
fan
I think
badge? I don't know.
I don't
I do know this. Texas Coast Limo will take you where you want to go. UDOT 575 Limo, Bob Constantine will help you develop a plan. Do you need 6 people in a black car to go somewhere, or do you need
Just you to the
28
airport?
people, or just you to the airport? Absolutely.
Save money on parking.
This ain't a taxi service. This is some accoutrement for your next event. I mean, we all go to the pump house, but if you go to the pump house on a limo, all of a sudden you're having a delightful date.
How many times have you driven to Houston to catch a flight? You run into some traffic problems, then you got to park, then you got to catch the shuttle in, and you're sweating the whole time because you're not sure you're going to make your flight.
Right.
You let Bob do that trip to the airport for you. Even if you run into traffic, he's dropping you right off at the gate doors, and you just go through.
A man like you in the back could sit there and sip Canadian whiskey all the way to the airport. Get out singing Dean Martin songs.
It's not fun on the flight though.
No.
But
All
it's fun
right.
for me. It's not fun for everybody else.
Got that going for us. USA Concrete Coatings. Reach out to Charlie Garcia and his crew. 578 Home.
They'll transform your drab slab into something absolutely fabulous.
You said that really good.
It just rolls off the tongue.
They'll transform your drab slab into something slab fabulous.
There you go. Slabulous.
Slabulous.
578 Home. Give Charlie a call. Go
Well,
check out the Facebook page. Just look at the gallery of projects, the befores and afters, and sell itself.
Yes, absolutely. BJ says, no, Lorena's a nice person. I met her during the Maroon Ball. Correct. She is a nice person. So is her husband. I really have grown to very fond of Rob. The Gray Barn, 920-6803. Reach out to Cheryl. Let her decorate your life. She'll go Kenny Rogers on your next party. Let her. You're so easy because you know them all.
A theme song.
Right? Reach out to Cheryl, 920-6803.
She ever pays more for a nice produced spot, that could be the song.
That's
That would be in the background.
When Michael Cloud was speaking yesterday, once again, I almost wanted to say, for Purple Mountain, because he was really good. I thought Michael was really good.
Chris Ray Brissett asked if we heard or talked about the new segregation of colleges, each race having its own. I hadn't heard about this.
Is this
So I don't
is
look
something
into this.
like that not among the dumbest things ever? We fight, people fought, people marched, people were water hosed, attacked with dogs, shot at, hung,
Kicked off
lynched.
buses?
To get people of color the right to understand, Brown, I think it was, versus the Board of Education, that separate but equal does not exist, cannot exist. And now they've decided to kind of retreat these young people, and they want to have their own
Separate but equal.
graduation with their own race. This is just dumb. By the way, speaking of dumb, yesterday listening to Glenn Beck, I haven't even run this by you, actually. This has not been vetted by you. I listened to the amazingly smart governor of South Dakota
Kristi Noem?
talk about the fact that she had to battle to keep rodeos, professional rodeos in South Dakota, the men competing with the men and the women competing with the women. Can you imagine a dude barrel racer, a tranny barrel racer? Come on, man. What does it come to? Yeah, I mean, if women want to ride bulls, more power to them. Ride bulls with other women. I'm not worried about a woman beating a man in bull riding. In fact, I'm not sure. She may have an advantage. I don't care. In fact, unisex bull riding wouldn't bother me. But I don't want events where steer dogging, where here comes Sissy. She's 6'4", 250, played tight end at San Diego State, but now she's a steer dogger. Come on, man.
8 times WNFR World Steer Wrestling Champ.
Right.
Going against a 120-pounder.
Right. Unbelievable. The stupidity. This people now, it's like, well, yeah, it's okay, guys against the girls will accept.
In this case.
Yeah. Where do we put Pat?
Tina Arterberry, good morning to you.
It's ridiculous.
Slippery slope.
Well, it is. And I don't mean to trade. I'll tell you, it lets you know that Ash and I will talk about anything. It's right. I mean, it's in your wheelhouse. You know, as a director of college athletics, it is a very real deal. What do you do? What do you do if Shaquille O'Neal, no pun intended here, 7'2", 290 pounds, decides that he's Shaquilla now and wants to play on the girls' team? I don't understand the logic of a guy wanting to do that. However,
It's not as simple as just saying, I want to do it.
I watched a bunch of co-ed softball this weekend with dudes that were doing everything they could to trample young ladies on the softball field. I mean, I did. And I saw some girls that I thought might have been dudes at one point. I don't know. What's your name? Stephanie. Nice to meet you.
Nothing more fun to watch than co-ed slow pitch.
Oh my goodness.
I feel your pain.
Mm.
Except maybe my daughter when she played middle school basketball.
Oh, it's craziness.
Yeah. Kelly Leininger says Oakland, California now starting a guaranteed income program, sending each family $500 a month. Where's the money coming from for this stuff, folks? Oakland, California is already considered one of those S-hole cities that the former president referred to many of our cities that were in disrepair and falling apart as. And Oakland, California, not far from that. Where is Oakland, California going to get the money? It's different when the federal government can go print the money. Cities and states do not have the ability to print money. People are leaving California in droves because of the high taxes, to the point so badly, and Governor Gavin Newsom had, I think, 2.5 million votes or signatures. Think about this. In a time of mass lockdowns, severe lockdowns in California, organizers still managed to get 2.5 million signatures on ballots to recall him when they only needed about 1.6 to do it.
Have they? So is he recalled?
Will be.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Oakland?
No.
Let me tell you something. $500 in Oakland, all that is a case of Ripple for everybody. Because I'm telling you, Oakland is just across the bay from San Francisco, and Oakland is a dump. It's like East Lansing. It's terrible.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're doing out there.
500 does not go anywhere in California.
No.
That might buy you a meal for one night.
Yeah.
That's it.
Stimulus.
The state of California is seriously considering a bill on an exit tax. Former residents will be taxed
to leave
when they leave, and would have to pay California taxes for, I think they've said, 10 years going forward.
See, that's ridiculous.
How can you reach across state lines to tax somebody like that as a state? I don't think you could do it.
But if you follow the money, what they're trying to do there is say, you've got these people in California, they come to Austin and they pay cash for a $3 million house because they had 1,800 square feet in LA that was $6 million. They come here and they're like, wow, look how much house I can buy for half that.
McMansion for half that money.
So the state of California says, hey, you need to pay us a big chunk of that extra $3 million you just got out of. Terrible. It's terrible.
It's crazy. I'm trying to see what else is going on.
I know what's going on. Let me give you one more break, and then we're going to talk about your friend, Bill Clinton. The Atzenhower dealership, since 1926, is quite simply Victoria's car dealer. Everybody else is judged by this standard of excellence. Whether you need paint and body shop, new car, pre-owned car, inspection, a Chevy, Cadillac, Mazda, Mitsubishi, they've got it all in large numbers on the Motor Mile, right there on the Vero Motor Mile. Reach out to Atzenhower. Go to Atzenhower.com today at work. It's Wednesday. You ain't doing nothing. Get in there and look at the offerings. Razor IT Solutions, JP Hull and his team will help you with your analytics, your website, your Facebook presence. Tie it all together.
Securing your data.
Yes, absolutely. Your encryption is his prescription.
Making your website hack proof.
There you go. Ate yesterday with T-Lap at Complete 360. Got in there and had a panini. They have an adobo turkey. It's a really spicy. It's got some lettuce. It's got some spinach on it. It was wonderful. Wonderful. Now the Andrews sisters are going to sing. If you get in there and do a little panini.
Nice Lawrence Welk.
That wasn't bad, was it?
Wasn't bad at all.
I don't know what.
Wonderful.
And
we got a wonderful show for you.
It's right. Remember that when you were a kid, your granddad watched it.
I watched it. I love Lawrence Welk show.
Goodness. And then I always go, and now Bill's going to sing. And you're always like, Bill is so gay.
Bill was so homely, and he always had all the pretty girls staring up at him like,
so gay. Anyway, Complete 360. Supplements, smoothies, paninis, get in there. Now, your buddy Bill Clinton, this, folks.
We forgot Chesnick Furniture Company.
I didn't forget him. I was saving him for last.
Okay.
I was saving him. Boy, you bothered me. 101 years in downtown Victoria. Bobby Leon and his family. Bobby Leon ran around that store in a diaper. Okay.
Pretty much.
Now, he's been there a long time. Someday he may be walking around that store in a diaper again, but right now he's cutting you a great deal on
Great
furniture.
deals.
You tell him Wade and Carter sent you. Bobby Leon's going to take care of you and your family because you just do better at Chestnut. 116 West Juan Lynn, the corner of Juan Lynn and Bridge. Fantastic. Furniture, bedding, Tempur-Pedic bedding, all types of
Accoutrement.
They have it. Chesnick Furniture. Chesnick and Love make your house a home. Bobcat Wiley says the Lennon sisters. No, the lovely Lennon sisters. Right? It's folks. So many of you
Still
are
on Saturday nights on PBS too.
Yes,
if you ever
you're
want to
too
check it
young
out.
to remember.
YouTube.
And anyway, so I want to lay the groundwork. I want to lay the groundwork, and I want you to talk about. We say
held it too.
He did hold it. He stroked it. Yes, he did stroke it. Very phallic. Lots of innuendo on Lawrence Welk. I'm telling you, the parties they had afterwards.
There's got to be an Ovsky or a Kov or something at the end of Welk. It wasn't just Welk.
Welkakov.
It had to be with his love for polka music.
Oh yeah.
And the time when his family would have immigrated here, and he's from like one of the Dakotas, wasn't he, or somewhere up that way? With that bit of an accent, there's a Polish guy in Lawrence Welk. It just didn't show.
You maybe remember when I was out at the Inez Little League fundraiser, the group behind me had a tape, and it was just a loop tape. They kept playing the same music, and every third song was the Pennsylvania polka, like the Punxsutawney Phil. It was straight out of Groundhog Day. Strike up the music. Just unbelievable.
And my favorite, every Saturday, I couldn't wait to see Arthur Duncan come on and tap dance.
Oh yes.
And think about it. Lawrence Welk was doing things on TV that nobody else was doing.
Right.
He had a black guy and featured him.
While Sammy Davis was swilling scotch with Frank Sinatra, Lawrence Welk was giving a man a job.
And damn good tap dance.
Oh yeah.
But that was the highlight of Lawrence Welk ever. I would love to see Arthur Duncan dance. It was good.
Crazy. So
anyway,
we have a propensity here for pointing out the obvious, even when it's not so obvious. But
to everybody but the Democrats.
I often say that the Democrats, the left, is most easily recognized by its hypocrisy. When you can throw irony in there as well, hypocrisy and irony, then do you have lunacy?
Maybe.
Bill Clinton.
Hypirony?
I can't even say it. Tell him what's going to happen. I can't even say it.
Apparently Friday, Bill Clinton's going to sit down with Kamala Harris and talk about empowerment of women. He's going to lead that discussion.
Bill Clinton is going to enlighten Kamala Harris about empowering women. Now, Bill Clinton is a guy who put an intern on her knees
in the White House.
Kamala Harris is in the White House after getting on her knees with Willie out in L.A.
Juanita Broderick wrote a book about being raped by Bill Clinton.
That he's empowering women.
He hasn't sued her to stop the presses. There's been no cease and desist on this thing.
He's bulletproof, man. The only person that would kill him is Hillary, and she skipped all the chances she had.
I mean,
the irony of Bill Clinton easily.
I mean, why not just put Bill Cosby on that panel too while you're at it?
Get Bill in there, and maybe Bill could give them all a roofie, and Kamala could show Bill how she got into office.
And this is like Clinton Global Initiative or something like that. This is the forerunner to rebuilding the Clinton Foundation. You watch and see. Clinton Foundation will rear its ugly head again in the Biden administration.
Yes.
So they can launder and funnel more money into their lives through the foundation, because that thing just up and disappeared 5 years ago, when Hillary lost the election in 2016. So, I mean, it's just.
Jeff Fonseca says she better slap on the knee pads.
There's nobody else that could lead this conversation.
Why not Oprah? Why not have Oprah go in there and talk about empowering
Why do you
women?
need a white man to mansplain to Kamala about empowering women?
If Donald Trump tried to, and by the way, Donald Trump is no more notorious a philanderer than Bill Clinton. If Donald Trump tried to sit down and enlighten a woman of color about empowering women, the left would come completely unhinged. Now, here's Bill Clinton, a serial
Philanderer at best,
playboy.
rapist, according to at least one woman, if not more.
Nobody believes the dude is a faithful husband, but wouldn't that kind of be a prerequisite for talking about empowering women? It's just kind of embarrassing.
Would it be a prerequisite to not being in a position of power and forcing your intern on her knees?
Absolutely.
Whether he actually forced her or not is up for debate, but the fact that he had the position of power and she's an intern meets pretty much every corporation's definition of sexual harassment and sexual assault.
Bill Clinton, see, Bill would say, nah, she can't rape the willing.
Probably what he would say.
That's what he would say. The only thing that saves Bill Clinton is Bill Clinton wasn't a big drinker. If Bill drank, he would have gotten sloppy.
You don't get a nose that purple and bulbous without
Yeah,
having
he's a
sucked
little-
back some booze at some point in your life.
How's my nose this morning?
Purple and bulbous.
Stop it. I serve up the softballs and he hits them over the fence. That's not even somebody give me a little laugh icon on
Your
there.
new nickname's W.C. Fields.
I need a little support. Harvey Weinstein should lead the. No, he would just bring in a casting couch.
Jeffrey Epstein should be there as well. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
It is crazy.
So who are they going to serve? Well, you brought up probably the one that probably should lead the conversation.
Oprah could do it. Oprah's a highly empowered woman. She's a seize the day type person. I don't agree with many of her politics, and at the same time, I think that Oprah is. She's a business tycoon. She's an icon of self-reliance. She is a living example of what this country provides for people that are willing to go and seize it. You know, when she first started her television career, she demanded that she retain the rights to her shows, and her ability to syndicate herself has made her a multi-billionaire.
Well, nobody wanted to do that, so she said, fine, I'll do it myself.
And then she got tired of being fat, so she bought Jenny Craig. No. What's the other one called? Fat Anonymous? No, not Jenny Craig. What's the one that Weight Watchers?
Weight Watchers.
She bought Weight Watchers, I think, and then redefined what morbidly obese is because she was a billionaire. She said, no. If you're 5'6", 280, you're good as long as you're eating a salad. Yeah, true story. Wednesday, Astros are playing pretty well, by the way, for those of you that don't care. We were just like, yeah, they're not doing too bad. The Abreu kid, and I don't remember.
Bobby?
No, yeah, that's who we used to get around here. No, but the Abreu kid is working well with Strom, and seems to be buying into what Strom has taught him. And he said, man, I am feeling better than I've ever felt. And
I don't know that he's a manager material, but boy, if they ever let him go as pitching coach,
yeah,
the
I know,
Astros
he's
are in
a
trouble.
genius. He is a genius. Look, Fat Anonymous, Brent Anderson. There you go. Good morning, Zip. Brent Anderson, we have not had a chance to debrief. He got back in from Cabo San Lucas. I took the time.
Well, he's been in quarantine, right?
I took the time to detail for him some great restaurants to go to, and there are some fabulous restaurants in Cabo San Lucas.
Didn't go to any of them.
No, did not.
No, that's the thing. There's so many.
Total disrespect.
Yeah. How did I see GameStop didn't hit their earnings projections?
Imagine that.
Yeah. Stock that went from pennies to hundreds of dollars based on a bunch of
like fake
trying to stop the short selling of the stock. Yeah.
Crazy. Happy Hump Day, says Craig Simpson. Good morning.
You know what's interesting with that though? It provided somebody came in and bought them, and actually they've managed to exceed their e-commerce expectations early on in the rebirth of GameStop, trying to basically take everything from a bricks and mortar operation, which was failing,
right,
to more of a e-commerce, download our games online, that sort of thing. And it seems to be, they're basically a middleman for video games and such online. And it seems to be, at least in the early goings, working. So
I need to spend some time and learn more about these cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin is just the first one that comes to mind. There are several. And the idea is that much like gold, it's a speculative currency. Like nobody walks around anymore with gold in their pockets to pay for anything, but you speculate on.
Speak for yourself.
Well, you might. big money. You might do it. Would you take this? Ting. No,
more like gold dust from
right
when I went to Knott's Berry Farm and panned
it out. Found out later it was like fool's gold.
gold
But
tin foil.
But you digressed. No, I wonder about. They're saying that your computer mind. JP Hull would be a great person to have on to talk about this. And it's very interesting because they're trying, and it does play a role. This is where you have to get your head around the idea that our dollar is all made up now. At some point, people are going to want to go back to a gold-based dollar or a international currency to replace our dollar.
Well, that's what they're trying to do, is get to an international world currency.
And if they do that, our country is. Can you imagine? You're 50 years old and you've been faithfully putting money into your 401k, and all of a sudden somebody goes, oh, by the way, the $2.3 million you had in your 401k, those stocks are actually worth a little over 200 grand now. Take care. And by the way, we're paying you in pesos. It's very, very disheartening for so people are turning to buying gold. People are turning to exploring cryptocurrencies. And it's interesting when you hear a guy say, well, you don't actually buy anything with it. You speculate on it. And so when they tell you that.
But it's finite, right? There's only so many blocks of crypto, if I'm not mistaken,
right? Your computer can mine for it. But it says something to me when they go, well, what's a Bitcoin worth right now? Oh, it's worth $43,000. Well, then, okay, so it's still tied to the dollar. I mean, I don't know. So I don't know. So if you know, and you'd like to call us at 575-9509.
Well, and now they're getting into digital art, doing the same thing.
Yes, you can buy something, you can display it, even though it's right.
The folks that make memes and had them shared all over are now like selling these memes and, making a gazillion in crypto. As a result, they're tying the value. It's almost like its own cryptocurrency, but in digital art. I don't quite understand it either, but.
And what do? You just
some of these artists who were making no money by creating great memes that everybody shared are now making livable, they're now sustaining their lives by selling this stuff. So and more power to them. It's good. They're creating content that people want. People are now buying it.
Much like you and I create content people want, just nobody buys it.
No. Kelly Frommy says ammo is a better investment than gold.
I agree with that. With ammo, I can get gold. What? Joe Mendenhall comes in. Joe Mendenhall.
Byron Florian was the accordion king.
Play it.
I'm not gonna.
Oh, I'd love it.
There's probably some copyright issues there anyway.
Yeah, who cares?
I do. You can't do that. But others can go and enjoy it.
Showing me nothing.
So,
what is a day without breaking a rule or two?
Yeah. Give you the hockey, man. Well, let's take our final break. Veracruz today. It is called a Wednesday. Get in there early. Don't show up late because you're not going to get it.
Yeah,
plain and simple.
11:30, 11:45. You got a bowl of Caldo. You go in there at 12:15. You're doomed.
Non-fungible tokens. That's what the NFT stands for with the digital art. Thank you. So, Veracruz, if you'd like,
JP knows.
Call them 576-6015. Pre-order your Caldo for Caldo Wednesday. They will do that for you as well. And did we talk about VCS Rocket Oil Field Services, the only locally owned and authorized AT&T retailer?
We did. We mentioned them as being great. They are great.
They are.
Mexican President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador asserted that the Biden administration's immigration policies have contributed to a surge of migrants.
What do they call them? ALOC?
Yeah,
ALO or something.
ALO? I like that. Better than, I don't know, better than J-Lo.
AMLO, I think is what they call them.
There you go, AM. Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador.
AMLO, that's it.
Okay. Are you through?
Yep.
Okay. We want to make sure we get it. What do you call that? That's not a meme. That's a, what do you call
Acronym.
it? Acronym. Get his acronym down. What if your name spelled acronym? That'd be like Alberto, Christoph.
We don't have enough time for you to try to.
Joe Biden's policies have contributed to a surge of migrants that have overwhelmed the southern border in recent weeks. President Biden reversed several Trump era. Those are Trump era, not 2-year-old Trump era migration measures, loosening restrictions for asylum claimants. That's all he's doing, folks. He's loosening restrictions for asylum claimants.
What did he say? That he's basically given the appearance that the border is wide open and come on in is basically what AMLO is criticizing Joe Biden for, because it's causing problems in Mexico.
Right.
He's got waves of immigrants coming through his southern border.
See, and AMLO didn't like it much because Donald Trump's policy required the migrants to stay in Mexico
and seek amnesty there
until they were allowed into the U.S. But we only had like 10,000 a month. Now they're getting, I heard yesterday, but not only from the mouth of United States Congressman Michael Cloud, I also heard on another syndicated program that the details of these cartel people are making $14 million a day ferrying people into our country. It has actually slowed the drug trade because they're making so much money
off of people.
People who need people.
Crazy.
Sheeple. Yep. Biden stated he might reinstate Trump's policy, Michelle Hawkins points out. And we also heard that behind the scenes, Joe Biden was reaching out to Mexico's president saying, help,
help, help,
help. Patrick Strauss asks, are you ready to join the Trump social media platform? What would he call it?
Trumpster.
Instead of Napster. Yeah.
I don't know.
And like if you didn't like somebody, you could send them to the Trumpster dumpster. And that could be sponsored by White Trash Services.
You know what'll happen though is all these Trump haters and the Orange Man bad, all the Trump derangement syndrome folks, the never Trumpers would all sign up for it.
Just to bash.
Just to see and just to bash. And they'd all have to have a Trump something, a handle, right?
The left, honestly, it's whoa. Lori comes in. Today's Patrick's birthday. Lori, that's kind of meaningless trivia to us because Ash and I would never say, happy birthday, Patrick. Happy birthday, buddy.
No, we don't do that.
If we were going to say something, we'd say something heartfelt like, sure enjoyed visiting with you at our Christmas party and to know that we share a great love of fishing. And what a nice guy you are. And with your child bride, what a lucky man you are. Happy birthday, my friend. But we would never say that.
We would never do something like that. Because that's not what we do.
We're not all about that here.
No.
Nobody really knows when Brother Gary just came in.
He's walked in.
39 forever.
But,
he his birthday's in July. We got that out of him.
Slide on it.
He did slide right in. We got out of Brother Gary that his birthday is in July, but we still don't know a date.
We don't want to know a date.
But we would never wish somebody like Patrick Strauss a happy birthday, or ever play organ music that would,
Patrick.
bring attention to it.
Dear Patrick, right here from Bimini Bottom.
Takes me back to my days at Madison Square Garden
when you used to play the organ.
The Calgary Chorale.
Yep.
And the brother man's here, so that must mean it's time for us to go.
There you go. Kamala Harris, speaking of playing the organ. Can you give me a pum?
Let me find it.
Do you have one?